Hey, welcome back, everybody. Mock draft number 6. We're set to go here with Paul Walia. How's it going, Paul?
Doing well, doing well. Excited to run another mock.
Yeah, hey, before we get started, you were telling me offline here, we did that Puka Power Picks segment. You identified, I don't know how many guys we ended up with, 14, 15 players that you said, watch these guys at the combine. And it sounds like you nailed it pretty much, huh? Talk to us a little bit about what you've seen so far from your Puka Power Picks at the combine.
So just a quick refresher for those of you that didn't get a chance to watch the YouTube segment, definitely check it out. We identified a couple of players based on that Puka mindset of, being a day three after pick 100. We said that was our threshold after pick 100, and that we felt would outplay their draft position. So we named a couple. We went through it. And as you know, the combine has been going on. We've been watching it diligently. So I just wanted to run through a couple of players just to share how they did and to see, does this Puka mindset hold true? So the first one, just to update everybody, one of my favorites, Sione Vaki. He ran a 4.62 40. A lot of people saying not a great 40 time. All right, totally understand. But if you take a look at some other aspects of what he did today, and I think he's actually going to run again at his pro day. He ran, just for comparison, Puka ran a 4.57 at his pro day. So he's tied for third among safeties with the vertical. Puka had a 33. This kid's got a 39.5 vertical. This is a safety running back hybrid. He was tied for fifth in the broad jump at 10 feet, 5 inches amongst all safeties. And he's tied for second in the bench press with 20 reps amongst all safeties. So he did really, really well. I'm not too worried about that 40 time, tell you honestly.
Yeah, he's just a football player, right?
And the dude is just a physical beast, and you could see by those numbers. The player that I absolutely said was going to blow it up, he did just that. Trevin Wallace, the linebacker from Kentucky. He tied for third amongst linebackers, 40-yard dash, blistering 4.51. How impressive is that? He had the second best vertical, 37.5, second best broad jump, and he has the highest. They have a what's called athleticism score. He had the highest among all linebackers at the combine. Wow. Not a bad call, right, for a guy that they were saying was day three. Another player, Cole Bishop, that we identified that I absolutely love. Man, I said he's going to be a ringleader of a secondary. He ran a 4.45.
Wow.
Right? 4.45. He's fifth amongst all safeties with a vertical of 39 inches. He had the third highest combine total performance score amongst all safeties. So the performance score is just sort of an aggregate of all the different activities. MJ Devonshire, player that you liked as well, right? We said that he was hyper athletic, hyper aggressive, hyper competitive, right? He ran a 4.45 in the 40. Nice, right? 38.5 vertical, 10.4 in the broad jump. By the way, both those scores are better than what Quentin Mitchell put up. So that just shows you MJ's athleticism. I mean, he's not in the same category, obviously, as Mitchell, but just the level of athleticism. Jordan Jefferson, we said that the defensive tackle from LSU, he's leading all defensive linemen in reps on the bench press, 34 reps. All right. I just turned off the combine so I could join you. They were raving about Ray Davis, the running back we were talking about, who has that great story, overcame so much adversity, was homeless, foster care, everything. Went to school right out here in New York. He ran a 4.53 40, and they said his agility drills were just off the charts. He caught everybody's attention. So our guys have done really, really well. Gabe Hall, we were talking about him, 6'5", 290. He's fifth in the vertical among all D linemen, had a 9.7 broad jump, third amongst all defensive tackles. Not bad at all. Just a couple of other quick updates. I want to shout out Rutgers Pride. Mark knows I have a Rutgers bias, both my kids, Rutgers grads. 4.39 in the 40. 4.39 in the 40. Third highest athleticism score among all D-backs. They're still not talking enough about this kid, and he's got 3 years of solid work at quarterback on his resume out at New Brunswick. Another one that we took a look at, that what's his name? Brendan Jackson, that pass rusher I said from Washington State. He's at 260 mark. He ran a 4.6940.
Wow.
Right? Can you imagine this kid coming off the edge? 21 reps on the bench. Not bad at all. The guys we said, Jalen Simpson, Nehemiah Pritchett. By the way, Nehemiah Pritchett ran a 4.36. Jalen Simpson showed everybody today he's not a safety. The kid's a corner. Play this kid at corner. Curtis Jacobs, a Penn State linebacker, did really, really great. I want to shout out HBCU. We do that every year. Virginia State, they got a prospect, Willie Drew. He's repping at the combine, 4.46 at 6 feet, 190. Not bad at all. So, and the one player I did want to see, TJ Tampa, that big corner that I like, he did not run today. He's going to run at the pro day. But, Ram Nation, keep an eye on this kid. I'll tell you why. He played with Purdy at Iowa State, right? So, and after the interviews, he said he modeled his game after Jalen Ramsey. Wouldn't it be interesting to have him play with us?
Yeah.
So, just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that at our next roundtable, kind of summarize the combine. I haven't talked about the combine too much during the regular pods because I don't think it translates well to an interesting conversation on a podcast, but it's great to have guys like you and Ian talking about these guys and how they performed at the combine compared to how they performed on film during the season, how they fit with the Rams, all that's good stuff. We'll get into that in our roundtables for sure. Cool. And we still have a few more position groups left. And it's pretty exciting. Can't wait for this.
And just a reminder to everybody, we didn't get a chance to go over all the Puka prospects. We just went over the Puka Power prospects that we knew were going to jump off the page. So we have a segment coming up where Mark and I are going to go over I guess if you want to say a part 2 of our prospect list. So please tune in for that one, and we know you're going to enjoy it.
Okay, so for this mock draft, mock draft number 4 that we did was you and I. It was mostly you, actually. And then I had Scott Richmond on for mock draft number 5. Now we're on mock draft number 6, and we agreed on some assumptions for this one. I'll share them real briefly. What do we got here? We decided that, let this ticker come around again one more time here. Shelton or Dotson have returned to the Rams.
One or the other that we said.
One or the other, yeah. So we have a little bit of a reprieve on the interior of the offensive line, and the Rams have signed a tier 2 veteran cornerback, whether that be Akilla Witherspoon or a similar player. So the Rams, I guess the end game here is the Rams still probably have a little bit of a need on the interior and at cornerback, but it's not a desperate situation necessarily.
Right.
And the reason we like to do these assumptions is, obviously free agency is about to start, and it'll be a lot of the free agency movement will be in our rear view mirror by the time the draft happens. So, let's make some assumptions before we actually run a mock draft, and that's what we're doing here, and we'll change it up constantly. So let's get this started. Let me share this screen. I have it pretty much ready to go here.
And when I last checked, this particular simulator has not, because the combine is absolutely still in progress, so they still haven't updated a lot of the picks. So there hasn't been a lot of movement from the pre-combine rankings. So for those of you watching at home, if something seems off, if a player seems maybe out of position, that's the reason. So this particular simulator, they're probably going to update it after they come out combine.
Yeah, they'll change it up a little bit, I'm sure, over the next couple of weeks. And we're going to reject all trades. We will not propose any trades moving up. That was Paul's option, and that's what he decided to do here. Let's get this started. Rams have the 11 picks, and we'll follow along a little bit here as it goes, but we're primarily interested in who's available at number 19.
And we have Les Snead on conference call if we need him.
Yeah. One of these days they're going to have to put us on the payroll, Paul, doing all their dirty work for them.
Oh boy. Look at this.
Now, do you think that's reasonable that Joe Alt would be available at 19?
You want to reset it? I would reset it.
Well, no, I think we just ignore Joe Alt, the Joe Alt pick. Pardon?
You sure?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's your draft. If you want to select him,
I would just hit restart. You know why? Because it's going to throw off all of the rankings below it.
Okay, fair enough. We'll restart it.
Because Latu also is like awfully.
Yeah. We want to make this somewhat realistic, and if it's
we want to give everybody at home like a real sort of feel for like where players are going to fall, although the combine is going to change a lot of this.
Okay, restarting here.
And whatever happens, happens. Let's go.
There's your Terrion Arnold that we talked about. He's gone.
Oof. If he fell to the Rams, how great would that be?
This one looks a little more realistic.
Yeah, definitely.
Cooper DeJean is there.
Look at Brian Thomas is there. Interesting. J.J. McCarthy. All right, not a problem. Oh, DeMarcus.
There's your JPJ.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, let's go, boys and girls and friends. We are going to rock and roll. Scroll down a little bit. We are going to go. I know I'm going to surprise a lot of people, but I love it. Let's go. We are going to solidify the middle of our offensive line to nothing. We're going to go JPJ. Let's do it.
Okay. And for those of you unfamiliar with some of these players, Jackson Powers Johnson is a guy that he's just a stud in the middle of the interior offensive line, right? And ideal for this power running game the Rams have moved towards. Can he play center?
He can play center and he can play guard. And since prior, obviously, to this draft, when both Coleman and Dotson hit free agency, a lot of people on, for example, ESPN, NFL.com, they're saying JPJ now makes a perfect fit for the Rams. It makes a lot of sense. I also think he's the most player, like sort of the player that you can walk in from day one, right next to Avila, ready to go, whether it's guard, whether it's center, not a problem.
And when I asked you that question, if he could play center, I knew the answer, obviously. I just wanted to make sure our viewers were aware. So we're on to pick number 52 in the second round. A lot of trades.
There we go.
So we have our interior offensive line in pretty good shape now, actually. What are you thinking here? Do any filtering for you?
So the mindset is that we want players that are ready to go, right? Because this is the year we're pushing all the chips to the center of the table. Is that right? All right, bingo. All right, we're good to go. Chris Jenkins.
Okay, he is the defensive lineman out of Michigan. What type of defensive lineman is he? Share with everybody. Is he a interior 1-0-1 technique, 3 technique?
So he played largely, hit a lot of run defense duties because at Michigan, that was their big thing, control the line of scrimmage. His dad is Cullen Jenkins, so I love the NFL bloodlines. His technique, once again, a player that can walk in tomorrow, be ready to play. His technique is so advanced in comparison to other D linemen. I also watched what he did at the combine. Very, 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 very well prepared, very athletic, just scratching the surface. The one criticism is that he didn't flash too much pass rush ability. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Look at his size. He's about 6'2", 297. So he's definitely a shorter stature player, but he's not a small player, and I love the way he plays the run. So I think he'd be great. The line is secure.
You've gone trenches with the first 2 picks.
That's it. We went blue collar. There you go.
We're on our third round pick. That original third round pick. We also have a comp pick at the end of the third round.
And for those of you at home, both Mark and I love this kid, Javon Bullard. He's that safety who has a lot of experience playing the star at Georgia. We know traditionally the Rams do not go this high at safety. So we're going to try to sort of follow suit. There's Cole Bishop. He's that Puka power pick that just blew it up at the combine. And Mark, you want to hear a great bias? Scroll down a little bit. Got a great story for you, Mark. You see this kid right here from Adisa Isaac, who played opposite Chop Robinson, Canarsie High School right here in Brooklyn. Shout out to Adisa Isaac. All right. So let's scroll back up a little bit, if you don't mind, Mark. Let's see what we got. Our top 5, Bullard. Like normally, I mean, I definitely think the Rams would have been all over him right now if they didn't have that bias against safeties. We want to make the secondary better. I think he'd be great with Lake. As you know, Ram Nation, we don't have this type of athleticism at safety currently. Scroll down just a little. Troy Benson, by the way, everybody at home, he just blew it up at the combine. Mark.
You want me to do any filtering by position? Will that help?
Corner?
Pardon?
Can you filter by corner for me, please? There you go. Oh, Kyrie Jackson, nice. Oh, boy, my boy is already gone. From Rutgers, Mad Max Melton. Can you show me edge, please?
Let's see, where did Melton? Melton went. Someone reached for him a little bit. I'm sorry.
He's going to make somebody look super intelligent because that kid can play. Do edge, please. All right. Okay. And if you don't mind, wide receiver. Bingo. And offensive tackle. Oh, Blake Fisher. Interesting. Okay. All right. Adisa Isaac.
You're going edge.
There we go. The kid from Brooklyn.
Yeah, now Scott Richmond's draft was executed before yours, and he has some real concerns about our edge rushing group, even after signing a free agent.
In terms of the depth, correct?
Yeah, just I think Scott's point was that Byron Young had a good season, but he's not a surefire. He's not going to necessarily get to the quarterback as much as we would like. His pass rush win rate was not as good as you would hope, or as a lot of people think. And he also felt like Nick Hampton, Keir Thomas, and O'Shawn Mathis are still all very raw, and we don't know what we have there. But so you're kind of following suit, going with edge as well, fairly high in the draft.
Absolutely. With edge, you can never have too many pass rushers. So, when you start talking about rotational players, and what does that mean at home, Ram Nation, is that there are certain edge players, like for example, Jared Verse. Jared Verse is so sought after as a prospect because not only can he rush the passer, he's a 60 snap player, meaning he can play the run, he can set the edge, he can go after the pass rusher. So that's a very unique position on the edge. So we have several rotational players. I think O'Shawn Mathis is definitely going to take a step forward. The question is Byron Young, is he going to be an every down player or is he going to be a rotational player? So we want as many players to sort of into that mix. Adisa Isaac has great length. He has shown the speed. What he has to really, I guess, demonstrate on a consistent basis is that he can be stout against the run. However, when you do watch him on film, he plays very strong against tight ends. So I'm sort of curious how that happens. He did look much better on the right side than the left side, but when he was going up against tight ends, he did not look intimidated or dominated at all. So I just think he needs to be in a system that best utilizes his talents and allows him to take advantage of his freakish speed and his length. So I think he'll be okay with us. Chris Shula, that's his expertise, right? Linebacker coach / pass rush. So let's give him some toys to play with.
Okay. So we're on that comp pick we got for the Raheem Morris hire, pick number, they're calling it 100.
Perfect.
What are you thinking here?
All right, let's go all. And this should be easy if I see what I see. Hit corner. Dominic Pooney, by the way, such a great pick if he's there. Wow. Okay, we got a couple of decent corners. I like. Scroll down, please. Oh wow. Okay, we got some depth there. All right. How about can you hit all? Let me
You
see.
kind of eyeballing guys that might be there. Now, remember, we don't have a pick until we hit 152-ish.
We
Or
got two back to back. Right. Hit all.
yeah.
There we go. Keep going down a little. Just a tad. I want to see how much we got there. Any surprises? No, we're pretty consistent. And see, this is the advantage of taking O-line early. Now you don't really have to worry about it too much. We are going to go with my buddy we're going to make Les Snead really happy. Scroll up. We're going to take that corner, DJ James from Auburn.
There you go.
They say he's a little on the thin side. Listen, once you get into the NFL, you start working out every day, you start eating that good food. That'll change in a heartbeat.
So you got 3 defense and an interior offensive lineman. Makes sense?
Yep. And that's the way you have to sort of set it up. We have probably the best center in the draft right now, and we have a top 3 defensive lineman right now, coming out of this draft. So that's not bad. We have a top 5 edge rusher coming out of this draft, and we're only 4 picks in. And DJ James, I think, is a rock solid corner who fits our system.
And I think, realistically, the Rams are going to end up with a 4th round pick somehow, some way. But in this example, we're jumping from 100 all the way to the Rams' next pick, 153. They're calling it picks 153 and 154 this time around.
Yeah. How great is that? That picks back to back, take whomever you like, right?
Yeah. You can let the clock expire if you want.
Take whoever you like. All right, let's take a look. Ooh, everybody, look at my bias. Look at that Puka power pick right there. Look at
Ray Davis. Oh, you got 2 of them back to back. Oh, what is Paul going to do?
Let's take Ray Davis and Sione Vaki in any order. It's fine. Let's do it. I want him on the team.
Oh, where did he go?
Taking a running back this high, Ram Nation, I know, is almost pointless because we know Sean McVay doesn't run the ball that much. But hey, you know what? That's
tell everybody remind everybody about the Ray Davis story. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Ray Davis, originally from San Francisco, California, one of 14 siblings. Parents had some personal difficulties, and he spent a large part of his time as a youngster homeless, sleeping at friends' houses, and basically wondering where his next meal would come from. Would always find his way to school, would always find his way to sports. It was his way to stay connected with people and sort of get his mind off of everything. Really positive coping strategy. Eventually got a ride home one day from one of his friend's parents. She started talking to him. She found out about his story, helped him, and eventually got a boarding school scholarship right out here in New York, Dutchess County. Then finished up his last year out at Blair, I think it's Blair Prep School in New Jersey, and got a scholarship offered at Temple. Played at 3 different schools. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the only player to have 1,000 yards at 3 different schools, 2 of them SEC schools, and just destroyed it at Kentucky. Just an absolute beast. High character kid. Today at the combine, everybody was raving about him. He can do it all. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles. He can bounce it outside. He's a classic one cut and trample monster. Decent size, 5'11". They have him down here 5'11", 210. But just a great player, an unbelievable athlete. Just an unbelievable.
And he's probably not going to last till the 5th round at this point, I have a feeling.
Yeah, there are a lot of people. They're still talking about him at the combine.
Yeah.
So
if you want to, he checks all the Rams boxes, the types of guys that they want that are just tough, dedicated.
Yeah.
Great locker room presence. And then Vaki, for those of you that don't know, he's another guy that's just a complete football player. He actually carried the ball for Utah a little bit. Is it Utah or BYU? I always forget.
Utah. And
Utah.
he's a great box safety. He has the athleticism to cover tight ends and backs out of the backfield. He's a vicious hitter, can bring a lot to the table, not just a Swiss Army knife, but a legitimate ball player. Just has a great attitude.
Can return kicks.
Can return kicks if needed. Just uber talented. And now if you pair him with somebody like Lake, or you use him sort of as a hybrid linebacker type because he's a big kid. I think you have something special. He's great on blitz, great blitzer. I was looking for that because he might spend a little bit of time maybe in the box blitzing. And, like I said, just watch him on film. The kid is nothing but electric.
Yeah. I mean, looking at this draft right now, they're all probably going to be, they're all solid picks, but got to be especially excited about Powers Johnson and then Davis and Vaki in the 5th round. The Rams in the 5th round.
And watch this kid, Chris Jenkins. I really, really like this kid. He really anchored the line for Michigan. And I know like the NFL has a bias towards pass rushers, but I honestly believe Chris Jenkins is going to be a phenomenal all-around defensive tackle in the NFL. And there's another player, Byron Murphy from Texas, who just absolutely destroyed the combine.
Played along with Sweat, right?
The kid from Texas.
Yeah.
This kid, his athleticism, he's like 6 feet 300, just unbelievable. He would be a perfect fit for the Rams. I don't think he's going to be there at 19, though.
Yeah, that interior defensive line for Texas was pretty impressive between him and Sweat. Okay, so we're on this is a 5th round comp pick, number 177 overall. What do you have so far? Well, we just look at it again real quick. You have, you went offense and then 3 straight defensive players, then the running back, and then back to defense. What are you thinking here?
The Ray Davis was like sort of a little bit of early present for me. Oh, wow. Roger Rosengarten. This tackle from Washington is, if you have time, go back to the Senior Bowl drills. This guy's the best feet in that whole segment. This kid can move, a nice developmental tackle. A lot of these guys that are a little bit light, he's a little bit lighter. They had him listed at, I think, at 285, 290. However, he's not a small player, and he does not shy away from contact. I'm going to go Roger Rosengarten and get some more depth on the O-line. Particularly,
is he a guy that do you see him strictly as a right tackle, or could he play both sides?
Listen, I got to tell you, I was impressed with. Oh, we just lost Trevin Wallace. Darn it! All right, yeah,
he can't have everything.
I was really, really impressed with him. I really was. And, when we were first looking at, obviously, the Washington O-line, we're looking at their prized tackle guard prospect, and his name didn't really pop up, but he can play. I think if he's in a pinch, he could definitely play left tackle, but at right tackle, he was smooth as silk.
So the way your draft is going, it would appear to be Alaric Jackson comes back as our left tackle, unless the Rams go out and spend big time money on someone else.
I think we got a starting either center or guard, so he either complements Dotson or Shelton. And remember, a lot of Ram fans are overlooking something. Avila can play center, and he probably can play center at a Pro Bowl level. So, there's a lot of flexibility in there. So the Rams have to do what's in their best interest at this point.
Yeah, if you figure if Dotson is back as opposed to Shelton, then you can go Avila, Powers, Johnson, Dotson, and if Dotson's not back, that sounds good, doesn't it? There's some flexibility. I think we're good to go. I think I'd prefer to have Dotson back over Shelton, but everybody, it's fans are interesting, and I'm guilty of it as well. It's like, bring back Dotson. Well, you know what? Kevin Dotson has a say in that. It's not
Yeah.
strictly up to Les Snead and Sean McVay. If somebody makes him a big offer, or if he wants to, maybe he prefer to play for another franchise, another part of the country, Rams can't control that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're on pick 191. We have 4 picks left. They're all in the 6th round. What
So
are you thinking here?
can you click my selections for a second again? I just want to get a quick refresher. So we have our O-line depth. We have a starter on the O-line. We got a great defensive lineman. We got our pass rusher. We definitely want some corner depth. We got DJ James and we got Vaki, our hybrid player. We got our running back room is basically closed at this point. All right. I see where we can go. All right, let's hit all.
Yeah, we have not drafted a wide receiver or a tight end.
Let's take a look at all. Let's see where we got in terms of value. It's going to go BPA. All right. So everybody knows that I think a developmental quarterback would be fantastic. There's 2 ways to go here. We could grab our developmental quarterback. He's right there, the player that I nominated as a Puka power pick. That's Jordan Travis. We could also go with Brennan Jackson, that pass rusher that I think is just absolutely off the charts. Right there at Washington State. Look, another power pick, Layden Robinson, right? We also have Nehemiah Pritchett, who is playing really, really well at a corner. So many different ways to go. I love it. So many different options.
I think Scott had his eyes on Jordan Travis, but he slipped through the cracks and we missed him.
We're not going to miss him this time. Let's go Jordan Travis. Let's get this kid in there.
Before I make this pick, is this punter, a punter at 153? Yeah. He must be pretty amazing. I don't know if I've ever seen a kicker rated at 153. Crazy.
Definitely not in Ray Guy territory, but still very impressive.
I guess so. I'll have to go look at check out his videos. I'm sure he's got some incredible punting videos. Okay, so Jordan Travis?
Let's do Jordan Travis. And Ram Nation, I know this might raise a couple of eyebrows. Listen, this kid got hurt. Let me tell you something. He normally would not even be available at this point, but for the Rams to have the luxury of bringing this kid in and developing him, he's such a character kid. And I think he's a much more talented thrower than people are giving him credit for. Part of when you run the draft is to really look at how much value can you extract from every pick. Mark, can you hit my selections for a second so that everybody at home can see? This kid we took, just so everybody knows, 153, 154, you're looking at 5th round. Now we're in the 6th round. In the 6th round, we got a tackle, and now we got a developmental quarterback. That's fairly impressive.
And Jordan Travis is what would excite me about him is he is so elusive, so great at extending plays. And sometimes, especially a rookie backup quarterback, I've always said it doesn't excite me when rookie quarterbacks scramble and run for yardage in the preseason, because I don't think that really helps their development at all. But once you get into live fire situations in the regular season, if you have a rookie quarterback, he's going to have to run and extend plays a little bit. And this guy, I think I compared him to a modern day Fran Tarkenton when we talked about him last time.
And that's why we put him in. I put him on the Puka Power list, because it was the mental aspect that he came to Florida. Florida was not an 11-0 team when he got there. He wanted to be part of the process. He didn't hit the transfer portal. He stayed there, helped build something. They were 11-0. Unfortunately, he got hurt. But that's the type of player you want. He's mentally tough. Watch him throw the ball. He's got some real zip on it, and he's a competitor, savage competitor. I think that would be a great pick. Love it.
Okay, so we're back to the player list here.
Let's go BPA. And by the way, this tight end, Dallin Holker from Colorado State, just impressed the heck out of me. Holy cow. What a show this kid put on. Once again, drafting another tight end for the Rams is like, pointless, because we know they barely ever go to tight ends, but to have some tight end depth would be great. But just wanted to shout his name out there. Let's take a look. I definitely want to find a corner. So let's see what we got. Scroll down just a tad. There you go. Let's go, or an edge. Scroll down a little bit more. This kid, Garrett Greenfield from South Dakota State, is going to be some real value if he's that late. Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, in the previous draft, Scott Richmond, he talked South Dakota State quite a bit.
Yeah, they got really good prospects.
Yeah.
Can you hit corner for a second? Let's see what we got at corner. I would love to get some more corners in there. Ah, they went. Yeah, we got these really late. Oh, we got our MJ Devonshire for later. Okay, what about safety?
I just don't understand why Devonshire is in the 200s from what I've seen and what we've heard about him.
This kid, Mark, Dominique Hampton, let me tell you something. This big safety, he ran like a gazelle today. This is another kid. That's why these rankings are pre-combine rankings at 280. That's definitely going to change. But this kid, if a team is smart like the Rams, they'll take this kid, let him play that what we call that William linebacker, weak middle, and those special pass down sets. I'm telling you, this kid can do damage. He's a great prospect. Evan Williams is a great prospect. Damani Richardson is a great box safety. His coverage skills, it's going to be interesting how they evaluate him, but great box safety. All right, Mark, if you don't mind, wide receiver, what do we got? Okay, we got Jack Saint. He's a nice developmental wide receiver. Can you hit all? Let's go BPA. Let's see what we got. And slowly scroll. We got, there you go, running backs at the top. There you go. Makes sense. Yep. All right. And we are at what pick?
We are at 212. We got 3 picks left.
3 picks left. All right. Scroll down. I'm sorry. Scroll down again. Keep going. Oh, we got
was Edwards one that you had talked about previously as well, right?
Great running back. Great running back.
We have the Kentucky kid, so we're good.
Yep. He's interesting. Keep going. Oh, there we go. Now we got some players. All right, keep going. I like it. Oh, bingo. There we go. Jonah Harrell. Keep going. All right, let's take this kid. We took Chris Jenkins already. We're going to go. Let's get maximum value. Let's get our developmental wide receiver. Let's take a Jack Saint from Georgia, SEC Pride. Let's take him. Marcus.
Where was he?
Yep, let's take him. Let's get our developmental wide receiver in there. Really
this guy
nice.
Here?
Yep, good length. A lot of people like him. Let's get him in. Basically 7th rounder. Not a bad pick at all.
You're really spreading your picks around. We got wide receiver, quarterback, a couple offensive linemen, cornerback, safety,
and now we're gonna go
edge.
Now we're gonna go cornerback. Let's see what we got. Corner. Oh yes. Let's go Devonshire.
Where is he? Oh, I missed him. Here. Is that the selection?
There you go. Take Devonshire, and we're going to close.
That seems like really good value. I know that we're on pick. It wouldn't appear to be a value number-wise, but he's not going to last that long.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Jarius Monroe, he would have been a great one. I love this kid, Marcellus Dial. I love him too. Really good in a zone system. Oh, yeah. At the bottom part of our draft is starting to look good. Let's take a look at defensive tackle. And we're going to finish it out. The best way to help your pass rush is not only from the edge. And bingo. There you go. Let's take that kid, Marcus Harris.
Defensive lineman out of Auburn. Now, he is one I know nothing about. But you know what you're doing. That's the pick. You have 1 pick left.
And we got 1 left, right?
Right. Number 217. We're probably there already. No, not quite yet.
Let's hit all.
Well, before I do that, I just want to point one thing out. Oh.
Will you like no, I think that's it.
Did I accidentally make a pick there for you?
No, I think that's it. I think that was
that was it. Oh, okay. Marcus Harris was the last one. I'm sorry.
I like this draft. This was a unique one. So let's take a look at everything as a whole. So there's 2 parts to every draft. The first is always we want guys that are going to play right now, right? We're pushing all our chips to the center of the table. JPJ, I mean, it goes without saying, he's one of my favorite players. I'm telling you, take a look at all these players. There are 2 players in this draft, 3, that from day one, you could just plug them in and not even worry about them. And that's this kid, Jackson Powers Johnson. There's Terrion Arnold. I just think he's just a phenomenal corner. I can't talk about him enough. For those of you in Ram Nation, at the end of the combine, after all his reps, he looked at the camera and he shouted out his mom and got all teary-eyed. There's a spot on my team for that kid whenever he wants, man. That's exactly what we've been talking about. This kid, Chris Jenkins, same way. His technique, his understanding of leverage. I mean, he comes from an NFL family. His dad was a lineman. How could he not be well prepared? So Jackson Powers Johnson, Chris Jenkins are going to play from day one, and they're going to lock it down. Chris Jenkins alongside Aaron Donald and the conductor, along with Bobby Brown and some other players that we have in the system, I think is just going to give us incredible depth and incredible production. What I like about him is how he plays the run. And I think as his pass rush skills develop, he's going to get even more burn. Adisa Isaac, kid from Brooklyn, Canarsie, he's tough as nails, right? So I love his speed. I love his length. But the one thing that I always look at for the edge rushers is their get off. When they get off the ball, are they on the snap? Are they ahead of the offensive tackles? Do they have counter moves? So he's right now more of a speed player, but he's definitely got the strength and the size to develop into much more than that. I think he's a great prospect. At 83 Ram Nation, that would be round 3. That would be round 3. You're getting a pass rusher. And if you think about it, Mark, like you were saying, Byron Young, Adisa Isaac, O'Shawn Mathis, if they should, by the way, they should bring back Hoyt. Right there. You got 4 guys, nice rotational setup. Let's say we do bring in somebody like the Mac Attack. That's a great room, Mark. I'll go to war with those guys. DJ James, I love this corner. Auburn always has great athletes. They have a great set of corners in the draft, 3 deep, that are really high in prospects, and you watch them on film. They are athletic. They attack the football. They are good ball athletes. I like the way he plays. He's aggressive. He's confident. I think he will definitely be in the mix. We did say so. Let's take a look at our secondary right now, Mark. Okay, you got James. We said we have our tier 2 veteran is back in the mix. We have your boy Kobe Durant, correct? We have the kid
Kendrick.
We got Tomlinson, and we got Darion Kendrick. So we're 5 deep right there. We'll see, how it develops. But right away, we've made that room stronger. Ray Davis, there's nothing more to say, but you have a running back room now that's Iron Kyron. And a lot of people are saying, well, is running back that big issue? Yeah, Iron Kyron's coming off a broken hand. Yes, yeah, it is a big issue. So Iron Kyron, they brought back Rivers. Now you got Ray Davis. We also have Evans sitting there. That's a solid running back room. Honestly, who's ever the 4th running back, let him return kicks. Evans, in his college background, did return kicks, and he is explosive. So, but I just think Ray Davis is going to be your number 2 running back probably by week 4. He's that good. The kid is that good and that tough. Sione Vaki, he gives the Rams incredible flexibility on defense. I think he can be a starting safety, no question about it. I think he's going to be that starting safety linebacker hybrid in a couple of different sets. Just full speed ahead, high energy player. He's going to fit in. He's going to add to that culture, that mindset that the Rams have of being aggressive. And kid's a winner. The kid's a winner.
And you got a lot of A+ here. They like your picks.
Rosengarten, I don't think people are talking about him enough. Nice length, nice footwork, nice technique. University of Washington, kudos to them. They did a nice job with their O-line. When you watch them play, man, their O-line was really, really fundamentally sound. And it doesn't surprise me that this kid looks really, really good in all the showcases. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's a great, not just a depth piece, but at some point you're going to hear his name in the starting lineup. So I think that was a solid pick. I'm really happy with that pick. And 177 Ram Nation. So what was that, Mark? That was our sixth round, right?
177 is the comp pick at the end of the fifth.
Yeah. So, okay. So end of the fifth, probably first pick of the sixth, or however you want to look at it. To me, those are always the first pick of the sixth. So first pick of the sixth, not a bad pick when you're talking sixth round, a left tackle, a lineman with versatility. Jordan Travis goes without saying, getting a quarterback that you can develop, you can learn from Matthew Stafford. Kid's a winner. That's all I got to say. The kid's a winner. Kid's got talent. Why not do it this way? There's nothing to lose. It's a great trivia question too, right? Apart from Carson Wentz, if he doesn't come back, right? Who were the last three backup quarterbacks for the Rams? That's a great trivia question. You could ask people. You can't even name them, right? To get this kid in on a rookie contract, have him develop, see what comes of it. In a pinch, I would not mind this guy running the offense. Not at all. Rosemary Jack Saint. This kid at Georgia, I always say that's like a red flag when you're at a program like Georgia and you don't like really light it up. But when you watch him play, he's got good length. He's a willing blocker, right? Sounds like he would fit in, right? Willing blocker, good length, and he's got great talent. So I think at 212, seventh round, you get a wide receiver like that. No wonder that's an A+. I agree. MJ Devonshire, that's just one of our players. That's another one of our Puka picks, the Puka power pick. He's a hyper-aggressive corner, a real competitor. Anytime you watch any of the Pittsburgh games, he just jumps out at you. All right? We saw that how athletic the kid is, and when you put him back in that room, it's win-win. And Marcus Harris, by the way, also Devonshire is a dynamic punt returner. And then, of course, this kid I really like, Marcus Harris. He was actually one of my deep sleepers on the Puka power picks. He's very mobile, very athletic. Look at his combine numbers today. He proved that he's athletic. Gets moved off the ball a little bit in the run game, but as a rotational pass rusher, he's definitely going to open up some eyes. And who better to learn from than Aaron Donald? He'll teach him a couple of moves, and this kid's going to get in the backfield consistently. He brings a little bit of – it's a nice contrast to Chris Jenkins. That's why I did that. Chris Jenkins is really strong against the run, developing as a pass rusher. This kid, really strong as a pass rusher, developing against the run. Nice compliment to one another.
Yeah, I just noticed it looking through these picks, which is, I think, not typical of your drafts, is you got a bunch of big no small school players at all.
Yeah,
a lot of SEC, Oregon, Washington, Michigan.
The SEC bias is clear when I draft. Right?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no South Dakota State. I think I was looking at the numbers, and Scott reminded me when he did his draft. There's a bunch of South Dakota State guys declared for the draft.
Yeah, and shout out to the small school running backs. I use that term "small school" in air quotes. Those small school running backs like Isaiah Davis, Vidal, they are just ripping it up at the combine right now. They are putting up numbers. There's this kid from Monmouth that people have been talking about, and he put up some great numbers today. Monmouth College, shout out. I think it's Jersey. Shout out, right? This kid has put up some sick numbers out there, and he did a great showing at the combine. So
I think in one of
this is my small school guy, Isaiah Davis.
You're going to have to look up this one guy I drafted, and I don't even remember what position he was, but I drafted, I think it was Houston Baptist. There's a player out of Houston Baptist, a school I didn't even know existed, and he's there on the board. I saw him today as we were drafting. And
the outside linebacker.
Yeah, it could be an edge outside linebacker guy, yeah.
You know what? You know what I like about him, Mark? That's actually a good call. Actually, Ram Nation, that's actually a good call. I don't know if you can pull him up, but I'll pull him by have his name. Is it Hunt?
I don't know. I could look it up. You want to go for it?
Yeah, if it's the same kid that we're talking about, I'll tell you why I like this kid. Did you notice 30% of the times he dropped back into coverage? How awesome is that? And for those of you in Ram Nation, know that a lot of even though they're on the edge, they do drop back into coverage. And that was a big thing that we saw last year. And to the chagrin of a lot of Ram fans. But the kid drops back into coverage a great deal. He's got great length. He's I think he's 6'4", if I'm not mistaken, 6'4", 230. Good speed, developing his pass, very raw as a pass rusher. But yeah, he's a good player. He's a good scheme fit if it's the same kid we're talking about.
Yeah, I was offline here trying to look up his name so I could share it. But we'll talk about it at the roundtable. I'll dig up his name, and it kind of falls in that pattern, which hasn't really worked out. Small school edge rushers in the 7th round for the Rams: Daniel Hardy, Chris Garrett, guys like that. But hey, 7th round, like I've shared a few times. I don't think there's any bad picks in the 7th round. Take a flyer on a guy. Take a flyer on a guy you want to get into camp. You're afraid that, hey, I just want this guy. I don't want him, on the phone with 20 different GMs trying to decide where he's going to go. I want him here.
The kid's name is Jalix Hunt. We were right. It's Jalix.
Okay,
Hunt.
Right. I did see his name up there.
Yeah. And that was the first thing that jumped out at me when they were looking at his name. And my apologies to South Dakota State. I'm not saying they're a small school, not at all. After winning back-to-back championships, yeah. But what I'm saying is that Isaiah Davis is just an absolute monster, and they have 2 solid offensive linemen that are in this draft that I think are McCormick and a tackle who has great flexibility as well. Those are rock solid prospects. So and, keep churning out NFL prospects. It's a great program.
Yeah. Hey, this has been fun. Let me pull this down here for a second, and let's do this again. Maybe wait another week or so. Now, I did talk to Scott, and he is willing to do a draft with you. Maybe we'll do that sometime where you guys,
that'd be fantastic.
You guys dish it out and maybe take turns making picks, something like that. That'd be a lot of fun. Okay, Paul, so you got some more combine stuff to get back to and watch now?
I will definitely do that. And Ram Nation, not to worry. Mark and I were going to have a really nice segment, a part 2 of our Puka Power Picks. We're going to go over how our first bunch of picks have done and some other ones to keep an eye on as we get closer and closer to April, and what we call the NFL Draft, the exciting time for us. Mark's going to continue to churn out quality content, and we have some more sleepers to throw your way to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and what's great about this is as I go through these drafts with you and now with Scott, I'm actually, I'm almost, I think your draft, 11 guys, I think 7 or 8 of them I'm pretty familiar with at this point.
Yeah,
so it's, you learn as you go.
The purpose of these showcases, that's what it's for. And don't forget, Ram Nation, keep an eye on those free agent signings and releases. There are going to be a lot of possibilities for the Rams.
Yeah. Okay, Paul, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. And we'll do it again real soon.
Double barrel ram horns.
All right, out here.